Okay, the objective for this video is to be able to add fractions, including mixed numbers and improper fractions. And I've given some steps here. I've written out some steps here for you. You can pause the video and copy these down. And so here they are. Okay. Hopefully you can write those down. All right, so those are the steps to add fractions. They're definitely not the only way to add fractions. In fact, there's probably a few shortcuts that some of you already know how to do. And if you are able to do that, I can show you one in the later part of this video. By all means, go ahead and do that if it works for you. But this is a step-by-step way, pretty foolproof. If you have fractions with different denominators, if you have mixed numbers, if you have improper fractions, those steps will take you through all those. And maybe they won't apply to every single problem because, for example, if it already is in a if it already is in an improper fraction form, you won't need to change it from a mixed number into an improper fraction. So again, there might be some extra steps in there, but if you want to memorize one set of steps, you could do that by all means. Okay, so let's do a few examples here going through these steps. We'll start with the easy one. If I have 4/9 plus 2/9. Okay, so if we go through the steps, and I'm sorry about the glare there. If we go through these steps, step one is make the mixed numbers into improper fractions. We don't have any mixed numbers here. Find the least common multiple of the denominators. Well, both these denominators are 9, so we don't need to do that either. Create equivalent fractions by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by each fraction of each fraction by whatever is going to make the denominator the LCM. Okay, again, we'll show that in just a second, but since our denominators are the same, we can go ahead and skip along. Now we're going to add the numerators. So 4 plus 2 is 6, and the 9, okay, when you're adding fractions, the denominator just stays the same. Convert the improper fraction back into a mixed number. Well, we don't need to do that because it's not an improper fraction. And then, actually, you should add there simplify. We always want to simplify. I forgot to put that in there. So this simplifies to 2/3. Most of you guys know how to do that. All right, let's show another one. Let's say we have 3 3/4 plus 2 5/8. Okay, so here goes another problem for you. Now, these are mixed numbers, and so step one says to turn these into improper fractions. So we'll do 3 times 4 is 12, plus 3 is 15. We'll still leave it over 4 if you remember how to do that. And here we have 8 times 2 is 16, plus 5 is 21. Okay. Then we have different denominators, so we're going to find what the LCM of the two denominators are. Well, the least common multiple of 4 and 8 is actually 8. So what we need to do then, in step 3, we need to create equivalent fractions by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by whatever it's going to take to get the LCM. So in this case, we're going to multiply the top and the bottom of this first fraction by 2. So 15 times 2 is 30, 4 times 2 is 8, and 15 over 4 is the same thing. It's an equivalent fraction to 30 over 8. And now we don't need to do anything to this because it already has 8 in the denominator. And now that we have denominators are the same, now we can add these. Okay, there's different rules for adding or for multiplying and dividing, but when you're adding and subtracting integers, you need to have the denominator the same. Denominator is the same. Now we'll just go ahead and add the two numerators. We get 51 over 8, which is an improper fraction. We want to convert this back to a mixed number. So 8 goes into 51. Let's see. 6 times 8 is 48, so at least it goes 6 times. And then left over, I believe, is 3 over 8. There's no way to simplify this any further. Sorry, it doesn't look good. Okay, so we're left with 6 and 3/8. Oh, that was really yucky. Okay, all right, let's do one last one, maybe a little bit trickier one. Okay, let's say we have 6 and 1/9 plus 3 and 8/15. Now we'll go through this rather fast, but you can pause it at any time if you want to think about what the next step would be. That would probably be a good idea. So first we're going to put these in, make these into improper fractions. 6 times 9 is 54, plus 1 is 55 over 9. 3 times 15 is 45. 45 plus 8 is 53 over 15. Now, what we need to do next is we need to make these two denominators find the least common multiple. So the least common multiple of 9 and 15, I believe, is 45. You could check that over here if you want to do the cake method. Let's see, you can factor out a 3. You're left with 3 and 5. So we know to find the least common multiple, we multiply the outside. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 5 is 45. The LCM equals 45. So what do we need to multiply 55 and 9 to get the denominator of 45? Well, 9 times 5 is going to be 45. So if we do it to the top, we got to do it to the bottom. And I do believe that 55 times 5 is 275. That's going to be over 45. Now, we need to multiply the top and the bottom of this to get the denominator to be 45. Needs to be multiplied both times 3. I believe 53 times 3 is 159 over 45. Now we're going to add 275 plus 159, and we're going to get the result of 434 over same denominator 45. Now obviously I've already worked these out. You could do this on the side of your paper, but for the sake of time for this video, just showing the steps here. And then 434 divided by 45 goes in evenly 9 times, and you're left with a remainder of 29, and we will put that over 45. You can check that work if you want on your own. Now, one last step I forgot to mention is that we want to estimate our, to check our answer. So we started with 6 and 1/9 plus 3 and 8/15, okay? And so if we add 6 and 3, we get 9. If we add 1/9, which is a pretty small number, pretty small fraction, plus 8 over 15, which is a little over half, right? Then we should get a number that's a little bit more than over half, which is 29 over 45. That sounds approximately right. So we can just do that way. One last thing I just wanted to show you, and some of you guys already know this also, there's another way to do this problem, and that's simply just to add the whole numbers, and you get 9, okay? And then later go back and try to do 1/9 plus 8/15, okay? And if you work through those same steps, again, you would find the least common multiple. It would still be 45. You'd multiply the top and the bottom of this by 5 and get 5 over 45. You'd multiply top and bottom of this by 3, okay, and you would get 24 over 45. Don't forget about this 9 over here, right? So then you'd have 5 plus 24 is 29 over 45, and then you had this 9 here. That would give you the same answer as well. That's another way of doing that problem. If that confuses you, just stick with the steps that we went over. But maybe if that helps, then you could try that way instead. All right, please write your summary, and thanks for watching this video.